Maybe they'll start.
Bait for the bait throw. Trash for the trash throw. Welcome to my emotional thunderdome. I am creative nothingness. I am creative nothingness.
Hello, my name is Christopher Albright. This is Panel by Panel, and today with me we have a man with no first name, Mr. AC Medina. Is that how I pronounce that?
Yeah, got it
I
right
got
first
it. I got
try.
it. What is the first name? What is the secret here?
My first name's Alan. It's
It's
there's no
close.
there's just if you Google Alan Medina, there's just so many like frumpy doctors who don't sleep on how much pull like medicine gets on Google. Your
That's
book's never gonna
crazy.
get more pull than like a small town doctor named Alan. So I was like,
I
man, I need something, and I was never like I never in my life wanted to be like a TJ or an AJ. But like here I am, and so much of my work is so much of my life is my work. So I'm known by as AC by a lot of people. Um, feel like I still have like like the it sounds worse than it is. I swear it's not, but the few people that remain from my pre AAC days, it's always fun hearing them call me Alan because it kind of feels like I don't know if this reference should land. There's a lot of wrestling nerds that read comics, but like Triple H and WWF, whenever it got serious, someone would call him Hunter, and it's like
yeah.
that's not even his real name, but like that was his character's like short, like long, like regular name or whatever. And that's how I sometimes feel like if my brother's ever like, "Yo, Alan," I'm like, "Oh man, see you,"
I
you know.
I like that you mentioned wrestling and then you tell me what kind of fan you are by mentioning WWF or you didn't say WWE, so I'm like, okay, so he's a fan, but it's like attitude era shit, right? Like, okay.
Oh no, I'm like I should be less of a wrestling fan. I like really truly should get into more hobbies and have willingly. But no, I'm a big I like all of it like AEW Japanese stuff. But absolutely like the references.
We're
To
we're
like
about to ruin this whole stream and talk about wrestling for an hour, so
oh man,
I'm very
that's
excited.
why. See, that's why I was trying to cut back because in comics, there's so much crossover, and at
There
like
is
comic hangouts and stuff, you mention
absolutely
one wrestling thing and it's over, dude. It's over.
conventions too. There's wrestlers. All the conventions I went to was all live wrestling. I was like, I have to figure out how to do the Venn diagram better. So,
Yeah,
um,
it's there.
it's there.
Daniel
Okay.
Warren Johnson has it figured out for sure. He's got it.
Um, we're off track. We're far
Oh
off
yeah.
track already. Let's let's go ahead. We're gonna veer back around. We're gonna veer back around. We're gonna talk about this comic. We're gonna talk about Deadhead issue one, real quick. Just to let me know, how did we start writing Deadhead? Was this written before you joined Iron Age or after?
So I've always had like an idea for how I'm gonna approach horror because I've sort of stumbled into horror. My
Hmm.
writing partner, Mina Elwell, she's like always wanted to be a horror writer. That's been in her bones. I'm like, I came into comics wanting to write crime, and everyone was like, "That's great. We're not gonna pay for it, but it's great. It's a good spirit you have." And like, I still, to be honest, you have to work with what's working. And right now in comics, horror is selling so well. It's doing so well, and it is a fun genre to write in. I was always a fan of it. I just never thought I'd be a part of it or whatever. But Deadhead came to be where John was like, "Oh, so what do you got for me?" John being the publisher of Iron Age, and I was like, "How can I approach horror in a way that's like absolutely my voice, my sort of strategy?" And I was like, well, I love slashers. I love like the worst of the slasher movies too, but like, it's like I love everything about them from the actual movies themselves, the mythos around them, but also like the industry behind them. I feel like there's such a lore to that like world and whatnot. So slashers was definitely my the approach I wanted to take. But something I realized that is in comics is a lot of like there are a lot of slasher comics, and a lot of them sort of follow more of like, okay, how can we translate what's worked elsewhere into comics? And for me, I was like, man, I want to like do slasher but comic style, like the other way around. And that's where Deadhead's intensity comes from, which is like I uh I feel like Deadhead reads like an action comic, even though it is about slashers killing each other and stuff. And I think how Deadhead came to be there was just me trying to find a way to speak horror my way. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, okay. And we're about to open the book. We're about to start asking some questions and learn a little bit more about this. Let me go ahead and get that started.
ask her.
We have here the very first cover. This is the cover that you helped work on, or what happened there?
So this was like everything with Iron Age and Deadhead. To give credit to Iron Age, it is a big collaborative effort. They let us know everything from under the hood of like, hey, we need something iconic. So they sort of said they gave us directions here. We need to highlight the character, and I think Deadhead has such a classic, cool design. So Gabriel really focused on him. My favorite part is Mahler Mason in the background. I think he is as important to the Deadhead world as Deadhead himself. So I liked having them both there. It was a lot of back and forth. We wanted to, like I said, highlight the character. And one thing that started here and has kind of kept up with all of our covers is Gabriel and Barlow. They're an amazing team, and they love bright colors, which is like a lot of horror comics kind of are darker lighting,
Yeah,
not as
yeah,
vibrant. We're totally the opposite. We have our color palette. I think is one of the best. It is just like it's always exciting getting new color pages. I just got new color pages for issue 6 today, and that was awesome to see. It just never stops. I think Barlow does so much with vibrancy that really adds to the energy. You know,
absolutely. Zach Trum, oh snap, I finally caught you live. I love you, Zach. So we're gonna move forward a little bit, and the colors of Deadhead again, having a slasher, having it dark, typically, but then going just bright, beautiful colors, fantastic. It's immediately what drew me to it because I was like, oh, I love this. Like this is real retro color, great going on.
right?
Page number one. Tell me what you wanted to do on your first two pages. Actually, we're going to go over these first two pages. We have page one, we have some kind of doll face. What's her name?
Oh, so that is the Bay City Basher.
The Bay
She's
City
kind of
Basher.
she's a cutie pie in her own way. We no
Everyone's beautiful.
she was I do think there is something to be said that like I always said I don't think you're gonna find another slasher like Bay. So I really wanted to focus on her first. And our goal here was again just like, hey, we're gonna do slashers, and you might think this is familiar ground, but it's not. And we start off by sort of teasing now, where it feels very much like, okay, we're meeting the killer first. They uh, um they're clearly the predator in the scene, but in reality they're not. They're actually being hunted, and
Yeah,
I think we're hinting that here. But I wanted to just open, and again, I think the guys just really came together right away. Like the lighting, that bright red sky, that's all like that's all Barlow right there. I think I wanted to focus on the fun house, but I think he kind of added the fun house vibes even before you're inside it by that red sky.
yeah.
So I'm a big fan of that.
We have Zach Trump asking if everyone is a cutie pie. Is that true for you? Do you feel that way?
I think we've had a couple in Deadhead. There's a few not. I think Smacky's not. I don't know if we don't meet Smacky in the first issue, but
I
he's
don't
kind of
think she's a cutie pie here. I'm actually gonna.
no. Yeah,
No,
I
this
think
this is a miserable scene for me. I hate this scene because I'm like, this
yeah.
is just bloody. It's a splash
Yeah.
page. I like to ask why people choose their splash pages. What decisions went into choosing this as the splash page?
So it was again. I wanted to keep the focus on her. I want her to feel threatening, which Gabriel really got
Yeah,
that across.
yeah, you did.
And I this it's crazy because we get so violent here. We're pretty violent throughout, but I think we have a more cartoony violence as it goes. But this here, man, maybe you're right. This is really written by some
This
sick
is
guys here. This is crazy stuff.
violent.
It is,
Sickos.
truly. But no, so we wanted to highlight her, we wanted to give her power. We didn't want her to ever seem silly. Because like I think there's like an inherent silliness with pigtails. Even though like I feel like it's weird. Whenever I think of pigtails, I think of Coolio right away. And I know that's not what anyone thinks about with pigtails, but he kind of has them. But so she has those, and we wanted not to be like, hey, we're not taking like a joke. She's a menace. She's brutal, and
Yeah.
I think in one splash we got that there. Um, but again, this team works so together, and our letterer right here, and I believe for the first book it's Micah Myers. We had two letterers to start.
Ringo Award winning Micah Myers, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Micah Goat, legend right now, and I think a key here is it says target, and I think that should immediately, and my hopes was to immediately tell the reader, oh, they're in danger, even though she is just ripped the guy's face off clean.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
in danger, and I think that was a lot of fun to show while also making them feel dangerous.
Another note from Zach is it gives Batman Beyond vibes, with a little more
Oh, nice.
pizzazz. The coloring of it, is that anything
Yeah,
you've ever
that
considered?
no, that's a great shot, and I see it. I totally see it now.
After he said that, yeah, I was like, I see it too. So I was like, I will
Yeah,
ask. Uh,
I'll absolutely mention that to Barlow because I love that reference. I like one of my hot takes always is that like Batman Beyond is that's my Batman cartoon. I love the animated series,
okay.
but Batman Beyond for me is perfect from like, and I think one can argue it's kind of like Back to the Future 2 where it doesn't work without the original. But anyways, tangent. I
Tangent, tangent. That's fine. It's fine. Who
uh,
cares? I'm going to
so
ask first about this next page is the way that the panels are done. It is a sketchy style. This is not normal. Did you put any input on doing that? Was this strictly an artist? And then what did you want to do with this page?
so I think so here this is interesting because Gabriel, I with everyone I work with, I'm super collaborative. I am a artist first fan. So even as a writer, I have all respect to artists. It's a visual medium, and it's the most fun. Like I love working with artists, and I love seeing artists get more and more comfortable with a project or a book.
Hmm.
And I think this is the first page where Gabriel sort of took a little bit of freedom. I have to give him all the credit to the buildup of the bottom three pages, three panels. That was all him. I had it as originally where I wrote it as that keep Deadhead in the background, sort of doing the looming thing while Bay is talking, kind of showing that she's aware of his existence, showing that she's not the first target. So word is going around that there's someone doing something, and
Hmm.
I wanted to show that build up here. But I think that as far as the sketchiness of the panels goes, that's something that Gabriel has done throughout, and I think this is where he really, he and I mean we say this all the time, but they really came together grooving from the first panel on. Some art teams take like at least 4 issues or so to really find
Yeah,
that. Gabriel and Barlow, they've had it from the jump, and I think that like that expression, that freedom, is something I always emphasize. We have weekly meetings where we just talk and vibe and talk about ideas, and I'm always saying, please, whatever speaks to you most, go with that. We'll figure it out if it conflicts, but
okay.
it, yeah.
Fantastic.
Uh,
Weekly meetings, when did that actually pick up? I don't know of any teams that do weekly meetings.
Oh, well, we just I guess we just get along, right? We
Oh,
kind
you
of
just get along, you're just friends?
we just
You're
vibe, but no,
friends in comics?
I think with Gabriel we at least have one big meeting before every issue where we just hang out, talk about like Resident Evil for like half the meeting, and the other time we're talking Deadhead and like and I'm like it's part of the fun and it's
Yeah,
great 'cause, we I think we're always kind of in tune, and that's something that's super important for all comics making, but especially
absolutely.
creator owned.
So this is our second splash page already. I love to ask why we do splash pages, but also Deadhead, is he a cutie pie as well?
I think so, but like he
I
gets
think
kind
he's
of
really
mad.
cute.
And so this splash page is we gotta reveal our guy. This is the face. This is who you're following. And get ready. He's about to take you for a ride. I think especially with splash pages, backgrounds are often so like static or not really. They're not really telling much because you're focusing on whatever the splash is usually a focus of a character. But I love that Gabriel here. He kind of set up the arena for our first fight without us realizing it, which are the different mirrors.
Hmm.
Which not to spoil the next page, but I think that's my favorite part of the splash. Each mirror kind of like guides you. This is exactly where we're gonna go. What's about to happen, and I always try and like say that action should feel like drumming from a band.
Hmm.
You should be building up to just going crazy, and I think right here is where we're really sort of getting the tempo going. We're building up because it's about to get wild.
Note from Zach, like the sport Zach jacket. Now, I love this sport jacket. In fact, I asked someone to commission a sports jacket when I was working with Iron Age because I was like, I want this to be
Yeah,
sitting in the
that'd be
table.
great.
It's so good. Who designed that? Where did this come from? Because it's incredible.
All right, so that goes to Gabriel for the design, colors for Barlow. Again, we worked together in designs. Gabriel and Barlow worked together. Barlow came up with all the colors, and it's actually inspired color wise the orange from Barlow's guitar. He has a guitar near his
Oh,
desk, and he was like, "Yeah, dude." And I would have to fish it around, but I've seen the guitar, and it totally. If you look at it, you're like, "Oh my god, it's the Deadhead guitar."
that's great.
And
I want to see that too.
yeah, no, I loved hearing that origin story when he told me it. But yeah, no, we love the jacket. We wanted to give Deadhead a more modern flair. Because he is a modern guy for sure. Like he so much of and I think it's just really cool, right? Like a lot of times, really cool is the most you need to explain something, and that's a lot with Deadhead. Where we just wanted, it. I think one of my overall missions with Deadhead was to figure out if I could still do. I always say like if I'm writing for 15-year-old me, I still got it because
Yeah,
that's the ideal, that's the dream, and I think the jacket very much speaks to that.
I
So
love the
here we
flair.
go with what I was saying earlier. I this page I knew we were in for like as a writer you always they are just ecstatic with artists agreeing to work with you, but like
Hmm.
there's always scenes where okay, these guys are are gonna do something special, and this one was it for me right away. It is just like you know, um, everyone here from lettering to colors to Gabriel's lines. It's perfect. The mirrors take the full focus. You can kind of hear the lettering as soon as he steps into it. There's like a weight to each glass. I can go for days, but yeah.
What made you decide this specific type of fight? Because in action, you can choose anything you want. Any kind of action could have happened. What made you decide this is how they're supposed to fight?
So I wanted to make it very clear from the jump that our slashers, even though a lot of them, for are killing your usual run of slasher victims, they're not powered like your typical using a kitchen knife, stabbing someone in the neck sort of slasher. They're for all extents and purposes, they're just super beings in their own right. With each one of them taking their own gimmick to the other echelon.
Hmm.
And Basher, I think what we love is that like she just makes a mess of things, and we wanted to see here having a glass versus chainsaw. That was where the initial mindset,
Oh,
all
okay.
the
Okay.
clattering, all the shattering, all the just all of that coming together just gets really exciting. And I think and that follows to this page
That
with the
follows this
chain.
page. Now the chains are his main weapon. Like the scythes are the main weapon, but the
Yeah.
chains are like the secondary part of it, right? Everyone has kind of
Yeah,
an iconic weapon.
absolutely, and it goes to his little pocket chain. They're connected there.
Oh,
In modern media, definitely an influence. We have so many, but we had a lot of for this one. I initially I was thinking a lot of Chainsaw Man at the time, and also Kratos from the original God of War games.
I'm gonna pause this real
I'm a
quick.
big
I'm pause
gamer.
this. Have you finished reading Chainsaw Man yet?
Yeah, yeah, and the movie and all that.
I'm
It's a wild
I'm
ride.
right at the end. I'm right at the end. I'm like, I can't wait to get there because I'm so excited. Go ahead. I'm sorry not to take a tangent again,
Oh
but I
yeah,
love Chainsaw Man.
we so many different animes and like we were inspired by, but I would say weapons wise, I'm gonna give credit there to Gabriel again, where the scythes were the original idea, but he made them the chain scythes, and that just took it visually to another level. um
It's
you
so
know I
cool.
they're so much fun. I always say in video games, my favorite weapons have always been Kratos's chain blades. So seeing that in comics form has always been really exciting too.
Oh yeah,
It's
you're right.
and yeah.
Um, we have a question here. What that boy do? What kind of powers does Deadhead have?
So Deadhead's powers are still, I wouldn't say we're still revealing them as they go, but right
Yeah.
now, he's very much undead. So like, he his whole story is that Deadhead has been killed. He was the guy that got killed first multiple times until he
Yeah.
decided to start slashing back. And that has a lot of meaning in different layers of it. Um, but as far as what we can categorize him, I think his biggest power is his anger. Like he is just
Oh.
rage incarnate. He's slashing back. I think you know Deadhead very much represents every single slasher that was just helpless, slasher victim that's just been helpless. So you make that with a lot of anger, and you've got a
So
pretty powerful punch.
so he's a victim.
He was. I wouldn't call him a victim, but that's his essentially his origin is he was the first one killed. He was the first guy killed in the movie 6 different times in his life. It was
Okay.
chimeras, which we don't get into in issue two. In issue one, we get into in issue two. So
I
there's
was gonna
little
say I
spoilers
didn't
there.
remember that from issue one. So I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know this.
In my
Um,
defense, we started with a Kickstarter combo of issues one and two.
yeah.
So I always, oh yeah, there we go. Here.
Grim Reaper meets Ghost Rider is what we have too
Oh,
as a comment.
I
Go.
take it.
I'll take it.
Little,
Let's see. How's he finish the villain off?
yeah. So, uh, right there in the previous page, those chains were very consuming, and they wanted to feel that that was what's happening to the Bay City Basher. She is getting consumed by these chains. She's getting constrained, and this is the result. And I think I think I should add he's a bit of an artist. Deadhead
Oh.
very much has I think he's he does some good mosaics, right? With it in pieces. We here wanted to just show we are gonna have fun with our violence, which is definitely it. There's certain slasher tropes that we've decided rightfully to um comment on in our own way. But there's a
Mhm.
lot of stuff that I didn't really that I wanted to emphasize here is we wanted to make the action more empowering than depowering, That's where the fun comes in. Um Truly one of the first origins for Deadhead was I'm a big like I said, I'm a big gamer. I love fighting games and I've always said they should be a fighting game with slashers as like the theme. We kind of got there with like a Mortal Kombat that had like a bunch of DLC with
Hmm.
slashers, but I think like they've always been a good theme, and we wanted each fight to feel that way. So of course, the climax of a fight should be the most brutal fatalities possible, and I think that's what we went for here. And It's
Would you say that this is his fatality though?
I would say this is definitely one of them for
Okay, one
sure.
of them. Okay, that's a fair
I would,
answer.
I would say this would definitely be the one that you like routinely do to your little brother and just watch it play out.
You just routinely, you just wrap his ass up. And like, all right,
Like
here we go.
if you know in a game sense, don't
Uh,
don't don't wrap your little brother in chains. I do not
okay,
endorse.
I endorse it. But let's go on to the next page. This is where we get Mark Maron as the
Yeah,
VHS store owner. What? Tell me more about this. Tell me where we got his design. Also, the next comment was the flying eyeball is doing something for me.
yeah.
Um, I'm sorry, we're not going back to that one. Let me know more about. I'll get my little bro with it soon. Anyway, let's go back to the Mark Maron.
So Clerk, he is essentially the voice of our entire universe. I I'm I don't want to say notorious, but I'm a big dialogue guy. So I think when I was writing this issue one, I was very much like, okay, let's try and let's let the visuals speak. We don't need to use so much of our so much of our own dialogue. And it was funny that not a lot of people agreed with me because that's one of the few complaints we've gotten is that everyone feels certain people feel issue one is a little bit low on dialogue, and
It
I
was, yeah.
certainly remedy that later on. But I wanted to let the world speak for itself, and Clerk really is the voice of this world. He comes at this world as someone who is a not in the top ranking of the power structure, but definitely enough of a middleman position that he should never feel threatened. But it's also a little monotonous. Despite having abilities, he really does feel like a mundane clerk working at a retail shop that's bored. He's almost a fan, not quite because he's a part of the world, so he's not really you can't really be a fan of a world you're a part of so much as he is a almost like a historian for these slashers. So seeing what Deadhead's doing, hearing about it, it kind of brings an air to the world of like, okay, this is different, and that catches Clerk's attention, which we're going to see continuing in this scene. But to set it up, I really just wanted to emphasize how sort of bored he is. He it's these are his boys. They're his goons for other words, but like I would say they are his they're forced to hear everything Clerk has to say
Okay, well,
and
yeah, yeah.
and also do what he has to say. So he can't really bounce ideas from him, but they have to hear his most inner ideas, and that's something we emphasize here. So to put a pin on Clark, I would say he's bored. He is a creature of chaos in a world of chaos that's bored with this brand of chaos.
So are we in hell? Where are we?
Oh, that's a very good question. A question that I can't neither deny nor the world's not in hell, but there's definitely elements of it at play,
Okay.
which we go later on into the volume. Iron Age. John would be killing me right now with spoilers, but where the volume is out. It's on Kickstarter
John's
right now, so if you
John's not
get
here.
it,
He
you'll be able
can't
to
hurt
read
you.
all of it. He can't
Don't
hurt.
just yeah,
Uh,
just spoil away. We don't. No,
you
he
know,
might be here actually. Let's not do that just in
you
case.
know, all I can say is hell does play a role in our world, and our clerk knows everything about our world, and so I think he that extra knowledge also makes him a little bored with things, but he quickly gets excited in the worst ways possible
Okay.
because even if he's tired of the order, he knows it must remain. If not, shit's gonna get bad.
Interesting. Interesting. Afterwards I'm gonna ask you a little bit more about this health situation because I am interested now. I want to know more about that.
So,
Um, Panel one, we have a no exit sign. Is that a choice by you or a choice by your artist?
that's a Gabriel choice right there. Same with quite the Statue of Liberty mark question mark in the background. You know,
Yeah.
I find new things here all the time.
Text
Um,
text Gabriel, let him know that all we're doing is talking great about him because he's crushing these pages.
he
Like
really is. He is a phenom. I think you know, I feel like I'd say that I've said this and been right before, but I think he's gonna be going places, especially
that's
like
dude,
he's
absolutely, absolutely. When I saw this is his first book, right?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
first book.
Yeah, when I saw this, I
You
said,
know,
"There's no way this is Gabriel's first book because holy crap, this thing was incredible."
yeah,
He
he's
deserves
great.
all the praise in the world.
He's
So
great.
let
He
him
is
know I
great.
said that. Okay, you talked about the clerk. You talked about him being bored. Does he have a name, or is it strictly clerk?
Oh no, his name's Clerk right now,
Clerk.
and
Hell yeah.
it's and I give you a spoiler there. His ability, I have called it the Clerk ability, which I can add as much random shit to it all the time, but I am really making it. Um, his abilities are based off of anything and everything you need to be the ultimate clerk. What that
Okay.
means is up to us, but it's a lot of fun. And he really does feel as like with Deadhead, it's hard to have a wordless protagonist in an already silent medium, but like that isn't silent. Actually, it's actually the most talkative of mediums. And so that was hard. I don't want to say a hard sell because Iron Age was into it, but it was tricky, you know. And so one thing I like to do is I like to pair them with characters that have a lot to say. And while Clerk isn't quite paired with Deadhead, he is the one hunting him to start, and that's why the clerk doesn't shut up. He's got a lot to say, and this page is one of my favorite aspects of working on Deadhead, of writing this world, and that's that our slashers, not only are they slashers in the sense of holy shit, there's people in the world that can kill me, they're also the slashers that we idolize and watch and root for sometimes. They all have their own worlds, movies that exist, fandoms, and there is a hierarchy, there's a structure. It's almost like, I would say here it comes back. It's like a disease wrestling. It never goes away. But like in the wrestling world where there's, star power, there is that level with our slashers. And that's
Mhm.
something that um, we didn't want to get annoyingly meta with. We wanted to make it more of like a flavor because later on we explain how it works very much in the overall structure of things. Yeah, the slasher with the most pull is King Slasher, and Mahler Mason, who happens to be our main target, who we can see there in the top right VHS.
Mhm.
He, we sort of use this to preview and overview our world because all of these are
Oh,
characters that Deadhead is
that's
hunting.
cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah, the idea of having that VHS and just show all your villains. We have Rook City. We have them saying, first off, I love you guys. They didn't say that. I'm saying it's a Rook City. And then secondly, Deadhead is so stylish in such a distinct and cool way. It really
thank
is.
you.
How did you guys decide what artist to use? Did you just see him and go, oh, this is it? Or did you go through a bunch of different ones? Because I'm curious about that.
Um, with Gabriel was first spotted. Deadhead didn't wasn't seen by anyone else. It we had an original artist involved in the project like
Hmm.
Deadhead, where we were gonna do a slasher thing, but the artist wasn't really into slashers, into horror.
Yeah, me
And we
neither.
ended
But
up
yeah.
doing our own cool idea. But Gabriel, I found online, and he had a specific. It was like a pinup of a it's a character in Cyberpunk who's like this clown with like a grenade for a nose. And I was like, that's very much the vibe of Deadhead.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
pitched him the idea and he was all for it. As you can see, like we were all for it from the jump, and we just went to the drawing board and got cooking. This page here, continuing what we were saying, um, these are all of Deadhead's already claimed victims. We're showing how they handle their business. Shout out to the Grand Slammer, my personal favorite.
He's the first one I saw. I was like, oh my gosh.
He's just great, and I'm very proud of the line in his own home field, because like that's some insult, and I like the parallels here where right next to a panel we see Grand Slammer about to bash a guy's head off, and we see what Deadhead did to him. It almost it we I wanted to build that these slashers are monsters, threatening monsters, but they're dealing with an even worse new kind of monster.
Hmm.
And that new kind of monster is what really has Clerk's attention. He's talking here where he can realize that Deadhead isn't just killing these guys to kill them. He's making a statement. He's leaving a message.
So this is double page spread. Again,
Yeah.
we've had four splashes now at this point. Um, and the decision here, I think it was a good decision because even though it's a double page, you have like six panels and they're telling you more story than you would get with like a book. Each one of these could have been their own individual books, but just seeing this is like, oh, here's a an 80s montage, right? Um, anything else you were trying to do with these two pages? Any other reason that you did this?
So I am a big fan of I like double page spreads that are as informative as they are, visually like, spectacular. And
Mhm.
I think they let you use everything, I'm a fan of using stuff like infographics, using captions that aren't quite in context, but they're out of context. They're messing around. You can mess around with the timelines here and everything. And I think this was a the start to world because we end up doing a lot more of these as the series goes on. And
Okay.
I wanted to really take a chance to show our world, because we have a huge world that we're really just scratching the surface of, and with this first issue, and it's on purpose. We wanted this first issue to feel like a slasher movie, so then it becomes a slasher comic book. It and I think one of my favorite parts here is that the panels also look like film, like film reels.
Yeah, no,
And
that's the best part of it.
it-
Absolutely.
it's a lot of fun.
That
It's
is a fun.
we this I would say this is the page where we go like, yeah, we are a love letter to this stuff, and it's not in the way where I always say my one of my favorite things ever. It influences everything I work on, especially stuff where I'm trying to make meta fan type commentary on. Is Venture Brothers. It's one of my favorite things ever made. It's like anytime anything I work on, you're gonna be like, oh, that's kind of a little bit of a Venture Bros vibe. And I definitely feel like if I ever hear, man, this is like Venture Bros for slashers, I'd retire on the spot. So no one
I'm
say it because I want to keep doing this stuff. But
I'm gonna read it enough. I'm gonna try to get to that point where I can actually say it and mean it. I'm not there yet. This is just issue one, but we're gonna see what ends up happening. My absolute favorite image of the clerk. In fact, I've used this image in materials, promotional materials before with you guys. Tell me more about this one.
oh man, I like Clerk is just cool, right?
Cool as hell.
We wanted to add that he's cool. He's not a fighter, and we make that. I don't know if we make it too clear here, but in his like stance, he's never he he's probably our most chill character, which is crazy to say. But I honestly would think he's got a more level headed view on how this all works, and I think this page here, there was emphasis where I we just wanted to keep introducing you to the clerk, make you a fan, realize that he's experiencing this ride with you right now, you being
Okay.
the reader. So and he's excited by it. He's kind of hyped up, and that's what that last panel really shows that he's he we if you go back a few pages, he's absolutely bored. But now he's like, okay, I got
And
something
now
to
he's
do.
ready.
Now he's got purpose. Even the boys are like, oh shit, he's interested. He cares.
So
You know.
when writing these kind of pages like this, you'd write, character close up of character smiling or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you put in to make it this detailed to make this badass? Like, did you care about that, or was it again just Gabe just crushing it?
I definitely with this was just saying focus on Clark. Here's when readers meet him. He's our most talkative character in this first issue, so naturally in a comic book, he's gonna get a lot of focus. And I think Gabriel was just like a couple pages of aura farming, got it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
For it.
I
I
want you to know. Oh, go ahead.
No, keep going for
I was gonna say I actually did email Mark Maron this page because I said, "Hey,
it.
I have a book I think you might be interested in."
That's amazing.
He did not respond to me.
He's right. I hope he does. I'm a big Marin fan, and yeah, you're not the first, and you definitely won't be the last. I wish I could say it was me being like, yeah, make him look like Marin, but honestly, that was just serendipity of my likings. I've
Yeah.
listened, I've watched all his specials. His podcast ending was a big bummer. But yeah, this was our first ever produced page. This was like the preview page for Kickstarter, the first one. So this is literally the first time we're thinking Deadhead. And again, we were going with the traditional. We wanted to pull that tradition here. So at first glance, you're thinking, okay, here's the slasher. He's
Yeah,
about
he's
to
about
go
to come get him.
kill this couple.
Yeah, that's exactly what you see. I find it interesting though. I'm gonna point this out because I'm trying to figure out what the secret is. But they show Mahler Mason, right? That's the name.
Yeah,
They show that VHS, and now it feels like he's in that VHS, right?
yeah.
Like each one of these things. Um, but this isn't a Deadhead story. This is the Mahler Mason story. This is who the actual killer is. Go ahead with this. This is a two-page too?
Yeah, there's a two pager here. This is
Explain
like,
yourself. Explain yourself because you use so many splash pages. I need you to
oh,
explain
so
it.
my take on the whole splash page is less is more is more is more. I think if I could have a whole splash page book, I probably would. I know they call it like, I know that you like, and that, I don't like that take, but I said that before, and someone was like, they call those children's books, and I'm like, I don't think I think that's all, I think there's it's two different kinds of art forms.
Yeah.
But with this double page spread, uh this was our first one. So this was my first of the book. I think here we're just going for traditional, this is like, cuz this sequence, and credit like, Gabriel, like he is so good at this. And I
Just
know this is
1 hour of
before the
us talking
writing
about
team,
Gabe. You're doing great, Gabe. We love you.
but he really knows how to set a tempo, and that's probably the most controlling thing I am with a writer, is I'm very big on my pacing. I like, if anything starts feeling too slow, I get like a little itchy. So I'm a big control freak with that. And Gabriel just picks it up just perfectly. We have a perfect synergy on it. And this was, like you said, we wanted to flip that. Deadhead is hunting Mason, who is the top guy. And we see him here in his natural element. Now, my Mason is one of my favorite characters to write I've ever written. He uh he is very much the superstar of the slasher world. He's
Jason
the Michael
Voorhees.
Jordan if you're old, LeBron if you're kind of old, and then I don't
Yeah.
know who young guys have. He is the guy. He is all that, and he hates it. He absolutely hates this job. For him, this is a shitty. Oh man, I guess I'm working night tonight. You know what I mean? Like he does not. He wishes he doesn't have to be there, but we don't know this. No, the reader doesn't know this. The reader just knows this is Mahler, but we knew this, and we totally show it here because Mason's mask says a lot more. We love that, it's drawn on, but it changes on its own. And don't ask the why specifics.
No, we
Have
don't.
fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
just have fun with
whatever
it.
happens, happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mask. But I very much like that. I emphasize that because Gabriel made it here to look neutral, and that lets you know that like he's just in work mode. You know, he he's almost like I would say he's just he's working here, and for us this is our first meeting, and if you've read this before, you know what happens next.
That's really interesting. I love when a book, when writers actually know what's happening in their stories ahead of time, instead of just like going seat of their pants trying to figure things out. Because you saying this is like, oh, I bet I can see it in the next few pages that he's, he's not as excited about what he's doing. Like, well, actually, he's smiling now that I see. So why is he happy? Explain this.
So here he's happy because another element that I didn't get to, I forgot to mention previously, our TV announcers catching us up on the world, and Mason is happy to hear a slasher got killed. He hates his coworkers,
Oh,
and he heard here that another one just got killed. So
this
that
is
slightly made me,
brilliant.
yeah, and
Thi-
not to give too much of the sleeve, but I've also been told to spoil more. I need to get better with that. So yeah,
no,
that's absolutely what you're seeing here. Is
that is
Mason's
so
like
smart.
he's so checked out of the murder, he's paying more attention to the news. Like he was entrapped with, oh, the Bulldogs lost. What else happened? Bay City Basher was found. Oh, that's great. Like because he hates her, and
See, I thought I caught you. I was about to call bull crap on this comic and say, nah, this doesn't make sense. You're lying to me. You don't know what you're doing. And now you're like, nah, he was actually listening to the news, and that's why he's smiling, bitch. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, cool, whatever, dude.
it was also another way to add dialogue. Like again, in the first draft of this, I was like, man, no one talks. And normally, I'm like, I'm normally have to kill my babies with dialogue, but this one, I was like, man, I got to add more. And I was like, okay, let's have like let's do something fun. I
This
always
is
say
good.
that I think I've said it even in this podcast, but I always say like comics is the loudest medium I know. Like even when I've written for like live action or like movies or whatever, um, they're dialogue is a lot more scarce there.
Uh-huh.
Whereas in comics, I feel like they're so loud. SFX are really loud. They're the
Yeah.
original big punchy explosions, and I always like to play with the sound of comics. So like I with this one I was like, let's play with the TV on.
The
I
TV
think
was good. That was a good call.
yeah. So
Oh my gosh, it's another splash page. Okay.
I
Why was
know.
this chosen?
Because this is following tempo, intensity, action. I also wanted to set up, which we really drive home, and you're gonna give it to me after, because I hope you know what's coming after you flip it here. But we wanted to show here's here's your first and on this corner we've got Mahler Mason, and on this corner we've got Deadhead, and here you go. Just get
Are we
ready
about to
for
flip it? Or is
flip.
is it another splash page?
You know what's coming.
It's a double splash.
Here there's not. I don't want to. I'm not gonna get like too creative here. We just want to do something cool, a face off. Literally write this as a face off. I now if I have to defend myself, I would say in this process here we were still in Kickstarter mode too, because we didn't know we were going to become an ongoing, or
Yeah.
let alone get distribution. I should have mentioned that. Our first two issues, which are actually packaged together Kickstarter originally, though they do work as separate issues. I trust me. I've ran the numbers, but um, originally we didn't know we were going to be more than just that Kickstarter. That's the truth of it. That's 100% the truth of it there. But we were able to do so well with the initial Kickstarter that the publisher was able to land a deal with massive indies and get lunar distribution. So
Mm,
here and beyond, we're in stores. Now our store deals are better than our Kickstarter numbers have been so impossibly, which is great. We're doing
good.
well on both sides. But to explain the splashes. Though we we were this was our one shot, and we really wanted to make this face off iconic. Now that we're in an ongoing world, I even love it even more because these I can safely say, and we've I just got an outline approved up to issue 12. So the future of Deadhead as it stands is pretty bright. Knock on wood. But these the dynamic of these two is the heart of our book. It really is.
Mhm.
It from the jump, and I think having an iconic face off like this is really important. I think I
Oh, it's a
think in
killer
comics
scene.
there's lasting images that stay with us, and I really want this one to stay with us. And if you think there's not another splash, you don't know me at all yet.
I will give you so far all the splash pages have made sense. They have been right. I don't think they were wrong decisions. My God, there were a lot of them, and they keep going. This is necessary. I mean, it's a splash
This
page.
this is
It's
this was written
action.
as a two paneler semi splash,
Yeah.
but Gabriel being how awesome is this stuff? This is like this is this is I feel like it's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. Comics is at its best when everything that goes into making comics comes together,
Hmm.
including the lettering and the coloring, the art, layouts, and here this page has it all. In my opinion, it has
Oh
an
yeah.
epic splash, but it also is guided by lettering so much so. That the environment goes away. It becomes lettering to gather the sound because Deadhead just got cracked,
Yeah, absolutely.
and that window is the panel too, which is insane to me. I love the splash. I've looked at it. This one is probably my favorite
It's
of this.
great. I do have the question of how indestructible is Deadhead to take a shot like this and to have a whole page just be describing the sound effect of the shot. Like there's no longer a background. That was how hard he just got hit. How indestructible is this man?
So I think with Deadhead, it's if you cut off a finger of his, it's getting cut off. He'll probably come back down the line. But I
Okay.
think he's a lot more kind of like rubber where it's like snaps back into place or regrows. Um, I would say he's not really like a tanky. That's more Mason who's just like you can rip chunks off nonstop and he'll still keep going. Deadhead is more that he's just never gonna stop. Like I can say, just recently, issue 7, or is it issue 8? Issue 8 opens, and Deadhead is just a bunch of cut up pieces in a bag, but he's still very much alive and will be put together. So
Interesting.
whatever
That's
that.
issue 8. That's how deep
Yeah,
we are.
issue 8. And
That's
well,
crazy. How
that's what
many?
I'm writing right now.
uh,
It'll
This
but
campaign you're doing. How many issues is that? 4?
4.
Okay. How many issues do you see this going?
Well, right now we're on ongoing, so it's one of those
Okay.
cases. Keep us pre-ordered, keep us talked about, keep us
That's
in your talk.
interesting.
It keep us everywhere. Just tell everyone about us. But no, we're an ongoing.
That's a
It's
cool
my
book. Let's go. We're gonna move to this. I think next to last page. I can't remember
yes.
how many pages we. Okay, so we had the action. We have him fly out the window, and we see this next scene. Tell me what you wanted to do with Mahler Mason here.
I just wanted to emphasize that hey, he may not like what he does, but he's good at what he does. He's very, very, very good at what he does. And again, going back to his mask, it's back in neutral because he's in work mode.
Hmm.
He's not really enjoying any of this.
Why is he not enjoying this?
You got to keep reading to find out. But
Okay.
I
Okay.
will say, and we do answer in issue 2. Um, there's just places he'd rather be, things he'd rather do. But on emphasis here again, is it's all on Mason. Mason's the defining colors are blue, so the whole page takes a real blue tone to it.
Oh, I like
Um,
that.
it also is one thing about Mace about Deadhead is he's been kicking ass left and right the entire book. So this
Hmm.
is his first someone not just being able to fight back, but actually, clearly having the upper hand. Um, and I want to bring focus to panel 4, which is right in the center there of that
Hmm.
like three,
The
and you can
profile image of
see,
him.
yeah, he's frowning under it, but his face is neutral.
Hmm.
That is something that I definitely keep focus on because it just gives you a lot of inner workings of Mason while not being in there. Where like it's like I want to say it's almost he's almost begging you to get into his head to somebody get in there so he can get those thoughts out. And in a way, this page flips the power balance all to Mason because not only does he have the power, he's also kind of the focus character right now.
Yeah,
It and that picks up with issue 2, which I'm spoiling because we still have one more page, but that's that kind of process that transferring is what's happening here.
I really like that. This is the kind of thing I like to hear when I'm doing these videos. Is I like to hear the way that you thought about doing it, how you wanted to transfer the power to Mason instead of Deadhead. How you try to show Deadhead as this strong super character at the start, and now we're like, oh, he could lose. Like this is
Yeah,
easily, oh, this is the end of it. And so these are
like
these are really fun for me to like really dig in and find out
absolutely.
more.
I
Let's see. Oh, go ahead.
like I said, I always think of music when it comes to writing, and kind of what's happening here is like in the middle of a where like Deadhead came in here with his drum and he's doing a drum solo. Mason is very much a bass, just like coming in there and
Yeah.
taking full control of the tempo while also being like he's playing bass. So he's clearly not having as good a time as the drummer's having, but he's still as important. I love
Let's
bass, by the
see.
way. Big
The
bass
base
fan.
is fantastic. Flea, right? Let's
Yeah.
see the final page. Oh, guess what? Guess what it is, everybody? It's a
This is
splash page.
I I I want to say we cut back, but like I think we just get worse. No, it this page is again just putting emphasis on it all, but this is also kind of bringing the entire book together, which that was my goal, and that's that take all your preconceived notions of slashers and slam them with a sledgehammer because we're going places, and that's what happens here. We immediately pick up in issue 2 with Mason, and we're having a monologue because unlike a Deadhead with Mason, we can at least hear his thoughts.
Oh, we
We
can. Okay, I didn't know that was going to be the case. So that's actually exciting. I haven't got to read any more of Deadhead. So it is exciting to find out. And the mask, is that you say neutral or sad here?
I would say this is neutral going into sad because this is kind of showing that um in a way I would say Mason was hoping that Deadhead could finish him off
Yeah.
because he was happy that Bay City Basher got finished off because that lets him know, oh, somebody's able to kill us. Maybe they'll kill me and end all this stuff, which is a little morbid, but for
Eh,
him, it kind of adds it frees him from this curse, which is what it is.
yeah.
He is very much cursed to be Mason, not in a literal sense, but he very much feels that way. We get into that in volume 2 in a very specific way that introduces so much stuff. But that's what that emphasizes is that you were just another guy that I can kill.
So
Bummer.
that is Deadhead. That is issue number 1 for Deadhead. We have 4 issues. We get to learn more about Mason and his inner thoughts. In the next issue, um, there were at least 12 splash pages, maybe more. Uh, it was a good action book. It was solid. So I will say, one of my since doing this, I found the comics that use the most splash pages are always my favorite because they are just high action, high intense. Like you wanted to have that scene shown. So no, I love to knock on it just to see what
I
happens.
love it. I
It's
love it. I
fun
love it.
though. So I have one last question for you, Mr.
Go
Medina.
for it.
Seeing that this is a slasher comic, seeing that this is what you wanted to do, what is the best slasher movie in your opinion?
Oh man, best slasher movie. It comes and goes. It comes and goes all the time.
You're a
I
liar.
so instead, I'm gonna give a controversial opinion.
I'm listening. I'm here
I'm
now.
gonna say that um I think Carrie has the spirit that I wish more of my slasher monsters had. Because Carrie's one of my favorite horror movies, and I always say that like her fine like I kind of look at that as the original flipping the sides where the victims are the monsters and the monster is a victim, and that's kind of my
That's not controversial. I agree 100%. We do have Mr. John saying there was not enough splash pages. Wish there were more. We will be writing the children's book version where it's only splash pages in the future, right? Is that what you said?
absolutely.
Fantastic. Mr. Medina, where can people find you on the internet?
I am at A_C_Medina everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Even I don't really use that one. I just use Instagram nowadays. My
Fair.
Instagram is my best place to find me. I'm trying with Blue Sky and all that stuff, but I just don't really believe in any of that. I think nature wiped out that kind of social media for a
It
reason.
did.
We
Yeah.
kind of just have to get with it. So Instagram at AC Medina.
All right.
That's me.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And this is again Iron Age Comics comic out for out in stores, and we have a Kickstarter running. You have 2 days left to back it. Um, you guys have a great night.
Heck yeah.
Bait for the bait throw. Trash for the trash throw. Welcome to my emotional thunderdome. I am creative nothingness.